Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Linda. This is Beyond Brass. I do, junk journaling. I repurpose junk, make it into stuff that you can put in your journals. I also use digitals. Full disclosure, I make digitals. But today what I want to do is repurpose junk, because that's what we're here for, right? So if you buy leftover containers, you often get interesting little bits inside the leftover container. These are in ones that one of my kids had bought while they were here. And I think that this would be really cool because it would be like a gatefold with a little kind of a pocket here. So this, I think, is the one I might use. And then I bought two different ones at Dollarama. This one is smaller. They're not even. The little flaps are higher than the back part, but I'll trim that off afterwards. And then I got this one, same thing, that the little flaps are higher. I really like this one too, because it would be like, you could do it as a couple of different options. Like things like this, I always like process what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And if I use it, then I can't film it. So if it seems like I don't know what I'm doing, it is partly because I don't know what I'm doing to start with. And then I figure it out as I go along. But I think that this one would be really cool. I'm going to use either this one, which is heavier, and by the time you cover it, it's going to be almost more cover weight, because this is really thick. This one is not, so when I cover it, it won't be so thick. I'm going to use this one because I think this one is really fun with the bottom like a pocket. But this one is almost like a gatefold. So when it folds in like this, I will trim these little bits off. Perhaps now. Now would be good. Rather than later, and then they're like hanging out all over everywhere. This might not be perfectly accurate, but should be fairly close. It'll also give me a bit better idea what I want it to look like. Now I also noticed, and this won't be an issue once I get everything glued on, that this is perforated. So it's meant to tear it off, which I'm not going to do because I want to maintain that. And I think I will also bring whatever the back one is so that it doesn't have this funny little lip, but goes all the way even. So what I might do is just glue one piece solid over top, and then decorate once it's done. These are pages from the book kit that I did in September, and they're extra pages. I had them on my desk and I spilt water on them, which is not smart when your desk is by your computer. Just in case anybody wants to know, don't spill water when you own a Mac, and it can cause issues. Thankfully, I managed to get it before it ran into my computer. It did get into my printer tray, though. I had printer everywhere, and I had digitals on my desk, which are now a little waterlogged, but will be perfect for this. So I know it's got an image on the front side, but I shouldn't see that when it's all said and done. Because some of the other ones have like stuff on it. Oh, these are the labels. I don't know if you saw my last video when I made the tag out of a envelope, but I got these computer, they're meant for cassette tapes, and they're labels with little windows in them, and they're absolutely perfect for putting around windowed envelopes. Just want to double check. Yeah, that's the only plain one I have. I've been using them for collage papers because, well, they're wet. I'm going to live dangerously and try using a glue stick, even though glue stick and I don't get along very well. I can figure out... Okay, that's the way I'm going to do it. So this would be like the back side of it. So I'm going to use the plain on the back side. And because it's like waste paper, I can just glue on top of it as if it's a glue book. And nobody will know the difference except for me and you. And I won't tell if you don't. Try to get it, keep the glue from going underneath it. That might be the point of using a glue book. All right. Yeah, that might be the point of using a glue book. Thankfully, I have an only partially used wet wipe. I wonder if I can use the edges of that and roll it around. Let me try that. No, that might not work because of the roundness bits. Roundness bits. It's so weird because the now this back side seems like it's not even. And I want to go a bit more like that. And Linda can't cut in a straight line. I think though I will on this fold it over just to give a cleaner edge, and then that one is gonna come around like so. Sorry if I'm getting in your way. I'm trying to do this so that I can see, and yeah. That should work. Finish that down a little, like so. And like so. That's a nice little corner. Don't you think that's a nice little corner? Yeah. Try to make it actually round. Round. I bet you anything. Trying to get that round. That's better. And I think that's, double check and make sure that's straight. Like so. Yeah, I am gonna do that. That will reinforce it if I decide to notch it, which I think could be very fun. Now I need to figure out what I am going to put on the inside. Seeing as I keep reaching for this page, I figure I might as well use it. So I need to make sure that I leave a little bit of an edge around, because my printer does not print borderless. This one, I want to be a little bit more careful getting the glue on so it doesn't go on the front. And then smears glue all over everywhere, because it's glue and that's the way it rolls. I think if I don't have enough glue to the edges, I will add glue with my art glitter glue. Barely Arts, that's not art glitter glue. And make sure that's adhered down, and I'm going to trim it and then trim it again. One of the things I don't like about glue stick is the way that it curls everything. And then because it curls, it doesn't necessarily adhere properly where it curls. So I'm going to give it a really good hard burnish and try to make sure that that's good and stuck. Looking good so far. For long edges, I like to use a long pair of scissors because the weight of the scissors actually gives you a straight line. Don't ask me how it works, but if you're careful, you can get a consistent straight line just using the blade, almost like a ruler. But don't cut really fast, just cut like a nice even pace. I will ink around this a little because it looks like I didn't get that nice and straight. So I'm going to again use the weight of the blade and go all the way across, like so. Now I can see that this corner is not glued, so I'll use my Bearly Arts to glue that down. So now I need to give that a good fold while the glue is damp as well. And I might not manage because it doesn't feel like it's got very much moisture left in that glue. So hopefully my little, where I fold it over, hopefully it doesn't crack. Because sometimes it does if you don't fold it while the glue is still damp. Contrary to popular opinion, which tells you to wait until the glue dries, but you'll actually get worse cracking if you wait until the glue dries. So I'm going to fold that way so that the little dots are on the inside. And you can see it has kind of, can you see that? The little crack there. I might have gotten away without that if I had folded it faster. But I needed to trim it in order to do that. You can kind of help it by using a bone folder or a little squishy tool and pushing your paper into the crease, but it doesn't always work. Now, let's see, is there an up and a down? There is an up and a down. That is up on that side. Is that up on that side? Yes. Because guess who didn't look to start with? That would have been smart. I could. That's not perfectly even there. But my thought is that this is going to go on a signature. I should probably put the lid on my glue. My thought is that that would go on a signature like so, either close to the edge, could go in the middle. Yeah, I'm going to put it on a smaller page like that one, which means that it has to go on one of the ledger pages I put in here because they're the only shorter ones. And then it can kind of float somewhat in the middle like that. So then my idea is to glue it either top and bottom like a belly band and something slips in here, or side to side and probably at the bottom, and then something could go in here, like a tag could go in here, like so, and that should fit in there like that. So I believe that's what I'm going to do. These are not in the signature yet, and I don't normally like to sew things on the piece of paper before I sew it into the signature, because it goes all floppy and does stupid things. But hey, let's live dangerously. So I'm going to glue along the side, along the side, along the bottom, and leave the corners open, because the tag is not going to fit unless I push it all the way to the bottom. And I'll probably round the corners on the tag that I decide to put in there, so that it, if it does go all the way to the bottom, it doesn't show. So let's do that first, and then I'll decorate the inside of it and determine whether I want a pocket on there, because I think that could be so much fun. And I'm glad I didn't go with a heavier one, because oh my gosh, it would have been so heavy. And I can glue a straight line. Look at me glue a straight line. Trust me, there's glue on there. The camera adds 10 pounds of glue, so I'm not going to put it on there. 10 pounds, I mean. Because the camera, or the glue's like I am and doesn't need an additional 10 pounds. And let's try to get that somewhat centered, which is fairly easy because there's lines on the page. Call it cheating. There we go. And I did pockets in this, didn't I? Okay. I think I need to remember to do pockets for kits, because I only, one of the reasons that I don't is I tend to make my pockets from scratch, like so. This will be the perfect size. That is what I was looking for. It's like, where's my X-Acto knife? Under your piece of paper. I'm going to cut a little extra. This is too big, but this will give me an idea of how big do I want that? Probably about that big. And I might float that above the curve. In which case, I'm just going to use that little line on that piece of paper. And I often make my pockets out of just copy paper. I don't use anything thicker than that, even though you can see it can munch up if you're not careful. Can you hear my cat? I vacuumed today. He's been sleeping in the bed all day because he hates the vacuum. Absolutely hates it. So he thinks nobody can see him if he sleeps in the bed, which is the most hilarious thing I think ever, because he's like this big bump in the bed. All you have to do is walk in the room and you're like, I think the cat is in the bed. And to about there. This is how you make a pocket, just in case you were wondering. If you want to gusset, it's about 1/4 of an inch bigger than what you want folded over. So that's, I mean, basically a pocket is a rectangle. So that will work. And then if you're doing gussets, let me put that out of the way. All you do is you notch out the little excess bit at each side, and then I want to fold over the top edge, so I can do the same thing again here and just notch it out at both sides. So if you wanted to create your own template for a pocket, just make it look like that. A rectangle with little like wings on it and notches on the side. That's all you need to do. So I'm going to glue the top down like so. It's not even, but it doesn't matter because the fold itself is even. Doesn't matter if the gusset is even or not. And then just give that a little bit of a fold, and I usually just eyeball where the edge is on, like, or where the center is on something like that. I don't measure. I'm bad that way. But you could measure if you wanted to. The other thing that I should have done for this, and will do now, pardon my arm, is I should have inked around the edges. Oh, and I should have glued that little thing down like I said I was going to. Apparently I didn't get glue anywhere near the edge of that. All right, go me. This one definitely needs a bit of inking because that white is pretty sad on there. And then if I wanted to, what I could do, but I don't think it needs it, is I could put a little piece of paper along the edge here and ink in towards the middle, like so. That way it doesn't get on your background. Also, it makes a lot less noise. Like so. It's better if you don't have a lot of ink on your brush when you do that. because otherwise it gets like this. And then, you know, you come in afterwards and just go like I did, and I don't do a lot of inking, so I'm kind of learning as I go along, shall we say. Making all the mistakes so that you can laugh at me while I make all the mistakes. Because you probably know how to ink and are going, oh my gosh, please don't do it like that. So let's put a little pocket right there, like so. I could have used the same paper as this one with the dots on it, but I didn't have any on my desk. But if I had have, then it would have blended in as well. I made my gussets pretty large. You can make them smaller than this. So realistically, they only need to be about 1/4 of an inch wide. And make sure that that shuts. It does. Only bunches a little bit. Oh. Yeah, no, it's okay. I think that's okay. No, that's not okay. It's too big. It's just like 1/16 of an inch too big. Making all the mistakes so you don't have to. And because I have to take that off, I'm gonna trim that back a little because it's too big. And trim that. Re-ink that. Double check and make sure that actually shuts. That will, because it's a, yeah, that will be fine. And like so. There, that's much better. Look at shots. That's not too bad. Like, it does gap, which I knew it would. And if I hadn't wanted it to do that, I could have pulled the edges of the, where it was folded to begin with, a little bit tighter. But I don't mind that little bit of a gap. It's going in a journal page, so I don't think I'm going to do like eyelets on it. I could, or I could do something like these. The whale tail. I mean, do that in another video. Yeah, because I have to figure out how I'm going to close it whether I want to use an eyelet and like tie it, which could give it a fair bit of depth, and it already, like if I put it with something like this, that gives it depth as well. And I don't want too much added bulk in here. I even think this is too bulky. I think what I'm going to do instead of this, because that's pretty thick, is just take a little bit like so. Cut that off. And hope that I have staples in my stapler. No, of course not. This is the original tiny attacher. I have had this stapler for, yeah, that long. I got it for kindergarten. It's my birthday month. So, kindergarten would have been about 60 years ago. Oh, right. Yes, I meant to say that earlier. If you're still here, I'll mention it in the next video because everybody's probably left by now. But it is my birthday month. So the Japanese, their tradition is when they have like birthdays and weddings and that kind of thing, they give gifts to everybody else. And I just think that's a lot of fun. So I am going to give gifts to people. Probably at closer to the middle of the month, because that might be when my birthday is. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm going to do. But one of the things that I will be doing for sure is I have a box of tags, huge box of tags, full to bursting. Tags, journal cards. I threw that envelope in here that we made the other day. There's just like, I can't get another thing in here. So I'm going to give a bunch of it away. I will probably do a video where I decorate some of it. These are all my unfinished. I do have another box about similar size of finished ones. Whatever I send you will be finished. But what I need to do is I need to put embellishments on them. Some of them need backing because they're still a little bit lightweight. But I'll finish up and then send a package. There's things like this that are like this is also a windowed envelope, but it's a tuck. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There are tall tags. There are more journaling cards. These are HelloFresh cards covered with paper. There are like tall, skinny tags. It's all kinds of things. And I will, I'll do a video where I do a bunch of embellishment on it. And I will put how to enter the giveaway on that. But most likely it'll be something like comment on this video and you could win. Things that I'm doing, I am doing some of my makes specifically to go in the reading journal that I started working on a long time ago. So some of the stuff is going specifically into that one. Those things will not be in whatever I give away, but there will be lots. Trust me, there will be lots. Also, I'm in 2 Christmas collaborations, and I'm doing giveaways for those, but information on those will come later in the month. One is at the end of November, and then I'm doing Terry's Christmas craft off, or Christmas collaboration, and the video for that one, I'm doing 2. One is the 4th of December and one's the 29th of December. But I'll give you more information on those as the month goes on. But if you have little like things from your packaging that you've bought, don't throw it away. You're like I am. Of course you don't throw it away. Keep it and make something really cute for in your journal. And then, you know, it gives you multiple things to do, because you cover it as one thing and then you embellish it as the other, because it takes me 2 videos to do stuff. And until next time, I hope you have a lovely crafty day. Bye.